Hey everyone, and welcome to Gotta Go Orlando. We're back for our next instalment of Universal construction and news update. There's a lot to discuss in this video. We have the latest details, permits from the construction site of Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift, also known as Project 380, the mass demolition project which is gaining momentum over in Islands of Adventure, which is turning the lost continent into a pile of rubble. Work continuing at CityWalk, Epic Universe, Volcano Bay, and so much more. So let's dive right into what's happening at Universal Orlando Resort. Luke Combs fans, get excited because CityWalk is planning to open a brand new Category 10 location, bar and restaurant in 2027, right in the heart of CityWalk. Although construction hasn't begun as yet, ground markings have started to appear, indicating the location of the new spot. And as of recording this video, the walls have now gone up around the area where the new bar will stand. The former riverfront bar is on its remaining days. The new Category 10 bar will be situated next to the Lone Palm Airport, across from Jimmy Buffet's Margaritaville, and I'm sure demolition will begin very shortly. Next to the entrance of Universal Studios, the painting of the structures and walls adjacent to the archway is underway. The colour scheme transitions from that yellowy beige to a white, mimicking the original Universal Studios Florida arch. The arch itself remains unpainted, but I am sure the work will begin very soon, so you may want to get them holiday snaps ASAP before the painting of the arch begins. We can also observe that a relocated light has been installed to illuminate the new Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift Coaster spike element. You may have noticed this, but if you didn't, wow, the Fast and the Furious Hollywood Drift spike element is gigantic and is now looming over CityWalk. And this is our next stop in this video, the space between the Hard Rock Cafe, Universal Studios main entrance, and the former Nickelodeon building. In our last update, the crews were finishing off the last few foundation columns and cleaning the site of all construction waste material. And as I mentioned in that video, construction in this area would commence very soon at the front of the site, moving away from CityWalk towards the Nickelodeon building, and this was for site access. All of the foundation groundwork in this area has been completed. Progress has been rapid and vertical construction of the roller coaster has commenced. One by one, the foundation pads and the wooden boxes that protected them are now receiving their coaster supports. What is truly fascinating is now that the process is underway, we can finally begin to work out the layout of the attraction and possible elements. The three large foundation pads at the front of the site for the spike, next to the construction wall, now have the supports for the vertical spike element. This element will reach a height of 170 feet, sending riders nearly 17 stories into the air. That's almost the same height as the Universal's Aventura Hotel. The spike itself will take place over the outskirts of Universal CityWalk, and observed in recent photos, the spike will have a distinct twist. This will twist the ride vehicles and the riders towards the park entrance, and it also seems to have at the top a slight incline. Moving backwards to the section of track that will have the LSMs propelling you up the spike, we can now observe that there will be an airtime bunny hop hill with a steel bridged section that supports the track over power units. We also note along this section of track conduits protruding out of the dirt for the power supply for this section of the roller coaster. Where the high-speed switch track will be installed, we can now observe concrete plinths to which the switch track will be attached to. This section is awaiting installation, which could begin any time now that the spike element has now been completed. Upon closer examination of this section of track, it becomes evident that the fixing plates for the LSMs are strategically positioned. It seems that Intamin and Universal are replicating an effect observed in the Hagrid's Magical Creatures motorbike adventure, where the LSMs are spaced apart, creating the illusion of the bike accelerating and shifting gears as you ride. This same technique appears to be replicated for the Fast and the Furious, which at this point makes me believe that through the onboard sound we will receive some form of storyline to work with the acceleration. The supports in this section of the roller coaster are quite unique. We observe bridging that connects the supports on which the track is being connected to. Additionally, we notice round support flat plates that are spaced every few feet apart. We're not entirely certain about their purpose, but if we were to make an educated guess, they might be used for safety netting, similar to those found on the Curse of the Werewolf at Epic Universe. Alternatively, they could be nods for the Hollywood Rip Ride rocket. Maybe Intamin are gonna attach loops similar to the Rip Ride rocket's lift hill. The supports of the attraction are in the universal blue, same as the globe at the entrance of the park and the uniforms used in the mega movie parade. Given the crane's position, the crews have concentrated on the spike element and that specific section of curved track. As I write this, the final section of the spike has been installed, since the segments are already on site, as evidenced by BioReconstruct's photos. That shows the end section of the spike and where the trims will bolt onto it. Now that these sections are in position, the curved section can also be placed, effectively closing off the area. Now the crews can work backwards, installing the supports and track segments towards the Nickelodeon building. You will notice a lot of ratchet straps and chains being used at this point. This is so that the supports and the track bolt holes line up. They are dealing with heavy segments of steel after all. Once they're lined up, a metal spike will be used in the holes to keep everything aligned, while the nut and bolts are guided through the holes and hand tightened. Once the full section is aligned and hand tightened and the crews are happy, then full tightening can commence. This can be one of the last jobs once the full attraction has been installed. This is so any final adjustments can be made and to allow for some settling. One clue of final tightening is a mark on the nut and bolt head which runs onto the flat plate. This mark can be in the form of a yellow or white line. If this line is broken, it signifies there has been some form of movement. As soon as the track is installed and the launch sections of the coaster are completed with launch fins and cooling fans, I am certain the electricians will begin installing and running all the cables to the power units located beneath and then to the main substation situated in the centre of this site. In the centre of the site we see a steel box erected which is a part of the substation or powerhouse. Next to this we see a brickwork building that appears to be completed but is still waiting for the roofing to arrive and be installed, hence the blue tarp. There is also a new foundation pad next to the metal building on which equipment has been delivered to. This equipment is covered in white plastic at present. I assume this equipment will be electronics for the powerhouse, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would need to be lifted via crane into the brick building, hence why we're waiting on the roof. If you're finding this video interesting, please don't forget to smash subscribe, and if you're watching on TV, all you have to do is scroll up on your remote and just underneath the play bar is the subscribe button. It really does help the channel grow. Also, please don't forget to go along and support BioReconstruct, who goes out of his own way to take these amazing aerial photos on which this video is made with. You will also find him in my suggested channels. And if you want to keep up with the latest news, don't forget to check out our Instagram. But don't worry if you haven't got Instagram, we're also on X, Facebook, and we also have our very own website. Just search Gotta Go Orlando. So let's get back to the construction site next to the former Nickelodeon building and in the mid-section between sound stages 18, 21, 22 and 23 and the back of the Music Plaza stage. The foundation pads are still being installed. We can now observe that all the drainage in this area has been installed. Large piles have been drilled and the moulds for the concrete forms are set up. If you look closely, you can see the steel pins resting on top, held in place with timber to ensure their perfect alignment. This area is still catching up with the rest of the site. However, it won't take long to complete since there are significantly fewer foundation pads to be installed compared to the CityWalk end and station area, as the roller coaster will reach some high points in this area to clear the buildings and also provide access to the sound stages for events like HHN. Deeper and larger piles are being added to support that load. We are now heading into the New York section of Universal Studios where the station and maintenance barn is situated. The maintenance barn itself is now fully enclosed and weatherproof. Work will continue on the interior bays to maintain the ride vehicles. We can now see the door from which the ride vehicles will roll out and be added to the main coaster circuit, but the track has not been added as yet. We can now observe that stairs have been installed on the exterior back portion of the building. Additionally, at the back portion there's an I-beam and track and hoist, which seems large enough to accommodate items such as the ride vehicles when they arrive on site, ready to be loaded into the building. As I mentioned in my previous videos, I anticipate that there will have 4 to 5 bays for ride vehicles, with 1 to 2 ride vehicles stored overnight in the station. This could potentially result in a total of 6 ride vehicles for this attraction. Next we have the ride station and platform. Since my last update there has been significant progress. Let's begin with the interior of the station. There are 2 platforms for dual loading and 2 lifts that are built in blockwork. It appears that the lift located in the centre of the platforms will enable both platforms to exit through that lift if necessary, and the other lift serves the second platform for boarding the ride. Most of the building's framing in this area of the attraction is already in place and is now receiving roofing panels to enclose and make weather tight. Once this section is fully enclosed, work will commence on the internal installation, including the first fix electrical and drywall work. Once completed, the total footprint of both buildings will be 39,000 square feet. Now you'll notice that there will be 2 switch tracks in the station building area, one as you roll out the station and the other as you arrive back. So let's start with the one that actually has the track in place when you arrive back. Once you arrive back, the system will select the platform you'll be offloading on. This will happen once you hit that brake run and slowly move by drive wheels, which the motors are now being installed, but the drive wheels themselves have yet to be installed onto the motors. You may notice that the platform you loaded on may not be the same one you get off. This can be due to operational timing. It could be because one of the ride vehicles takes a little bit longer for unloading and reloading, so you'll be sent to the opposite platform. But don't worry, you'll all exit through the same locker area like most Universal attractions. Now let's move on to the larger of the 2 switch tracks as you roll out the station and enter the first section of LSMs, ready to launch you and propel you towards the front section of the park. This switch track has 3 operations in total. The first 2 operations involve loading the 2 platforms and ride vehicles into the launch area. The third operation involves loading additional ride vehicles onto the circuit from the maintenance barn. Work is progressing on this switch track and we are witnessing more foundation work and prep. As of recording this video, you'll notice that the coaster support columns are offset from the track in and around this area. This is due to the space constraints and the need for vehicles like trucks to access the sound stages in this area. It also helps in reducing the number of supports and foundations required. By adding a bridge-like support structure, there are still ongoing works around the external section of the station building, which suggests that this building is still going to grow in size. As of now, I assume the primary queuing area will be situated in the main station building, while an overflow will be outside to the side of the station building itself. Planning indicates that the facade will align with the entire block of buildings leading up to the New York Public Library. Now onto the ride vehicles themselves, each featuring 4 cars that are modelled after the iconic street racers: the Dodge Charger, Dominic Toretto's signature car, the Mazda RX-7, the Nissan Skyline GTR, and the Toyota Supra. Each car will have a 360-degree programmed rotation, unlike the teacups that spin randomly. These cars are precision engineered to drift sideways through turns, mimicking actual drifting. Just like Rip Ride Rocket, you'll be getting onboard audio, so expect some screeching tyres and custom soundtracks pumped directly into your headrest. Since Orlando is flatter than a pancake, unlike the Hollywood version, Intamin is going vertical, and we're getting a 170-foot vertical spike, which is already towering over CityWalk, not to mention whatever else they're going to pack into that circuit. If we consider the speed of the Universal Hollywood version of this coaster type, which can reach speeds of up to 72 miles per hour, it could mean that this coaster will be faster than Velocicoaster, which has a top speed of 70 miles per hour. Moving over to the staging area near Epic Universe, we've witnessed the arrival of new track segments over the past few weeks, and with every delivery you can really see the scale of the project becoming truly apparent. So share your thoughts down below with our subscribers about what you think about Project 380, the Fast and the Furious Hollywood drift coaster. Next door at Islands of Adventure, there is so much to unpack. The Jurassic Park River Adventure is currently undergoing a massive, nearly year-long refurbishment. It closed its doors in January and is not expected to reopen until November the 19th, 2026. The extent of the work will focus on the animatronics and the ride system. The entire attraction has been drained for its necessary repairs. However, we're unsure if this change will convert the ride from Jurassic Park to Jurassic World. We are seeing new straw roofing being added to the ride entrance, and there is scaffolding in the main paddock area of the attraction. Also spotted the return of the first boats, which are wrapped in white plastic and was stored away at Epic Universe, and the Ultrasaurus mechanical neck has recently returned as well. Now moving over to the Lost Continent. Walls have now been erected around Poseidon's Fury, and the only major visual element that remains standing is the towering trident sculpture located at the entrance of the attraction. Recently, the Mystic Fountain has also been enclosed by walls, but is still standing. Workers have been spotted around the fountain installing silt barriers along the construction wall and accessing the fountain's workings. Therefore, I think it will be removed very soon, along with the main arch that leads into the Sinbad's theatre area. As for that theatre, only the central core of the building remains. Universal has been cleared to demolish approximately 4.9 acres of land. Universal Orlando Resort has officially announced that in the coming months, all venues and experiences within the Lost Continent will gradually close to make way for a new themed area, and this includes the closure of the Mythos restaurant in 2027. The Thunder Falls Terrace restaurant will close this summer and transform into an entirely new dining concept. This new concept will become the signature full-service restaurant in Universal Islands of Adventure. The rethemed dining location installation will debut in 2027. The million-dollar question is what comes next. While Universal keeps their cards close to their chest, the rumour mill has started to begin. The Lost Continent could be transformed into the Legends of Zelda, Pokemon, Wicked, or something completely different and not in our sight. The Intamin connection adding fuel to the fire. Recent permit filings resurfaced Intamin Ltd, the ride manufacturer known for cutting-edge coasters and thrill rides, suggests whatever replaces the land, it won't be just a walkthrough, it's going to be a heavy hitter. Pteranodon flyers are currently closed for maintenance but have recently been spotted testing over the past few days. This suggests that the work is progressing as planned and the July 3rd opening is on track, and we'll keep you updated on any further developments. Over at Epic Universe Celestial Park Cosmos Fountain, a significant permit was filed recently for the installation of lighting infrastructure and advanced control systems at the central fountain, which has since been completed. Rumours suggest that this is for a new, more elaborate nighttime spectacle that was not ready for the grand opening. This could also be related to the recent installation of the new fireworks launch pad, which has recently received new mortar tubes, and new large skylights are being installed around Epic Universe, including a long row of them behind the fireworks launch pad located at the furthest back edge of the property, and new skyward facing lights have been installed on top of several buildings throughout Epic Universe. It seems like they are planning to make a grand finale for the end of your day. Project 915, a multi-purpose event structure inside Epic Universe, is progressing steadily. The initial foundation work is underway and we can now see the foundation forms being filled with concrete, creating the foundation pad for the new building. A mysterious new expansion currently in the early development stages at Epic Universe has sparked intrigue and speculation. The expansion's codename Project 680 also comes with a permit. While Universal has not officially revealed the project's purpose, the trail of local permits filed in late March offers some clues. This permit is noteworthy as it marks the first instance where Universal explicitly used the phrase future attraction in a filing for Epic Universe since the park's opening in May 2025. The filing, initially noticed by local news outlets and theme park enthusiasts, outlined plans for mass grading, utility points of connection and reroutes. The designated site is situated near the backstage area of Dark Universe, but work has yet to begin in this area. It's important to note that trailers have already been installed on site for future projects. Given the short duration of the permits posting and its subsequent removal from the Orange County website, the rumour mill is abuzz with speculation. Project 987 Potter Expansion. Preparations for a massive expansion to the park's Wizarding World are underway. Trailers, equipment and supplies are being set up in an empty plot behind Stardust Racers just beside the Potter expansion area. Whiting Turner has filed, approved and issued permits for the installation of 14 trailers, along with connections for electricity and plumbing. The major construction project in the adjacent plot directly behind the main Wizarding World land will be for a new attraction spanning 150,000 square feet. It's assumed that these trailers are being set up to support this project. While the Potter expansion project hasn't started as yet, the site has been cleared and survey markers were spotted a few months ago. Volcano Bay is undergoing some exciting changes. Permits and photos reveal a new parking structure being built south of the water park, and the new two-story cabanas have now gone vertical. The water park will also be closed for an extended period starting October the 26th, 2026 for a deep maintenance. And finally, the site preparation for an Epic Universe property is underway. An entire plot has had sand grading done to raise the level above low-lying water. Now I imagine settling will need to occur, and then the area will need to be re-leveled to its desired level. Additionally, there appears to be an area that could serve as a lay-down area for construction materials and for whatever's being built for this project. Universal holds the exclusive deals of the plan. The site is nearly 90 acres, spanning Universal Boulevard between the Wheel at Icon Park and Top Golf. Additionally, we are hearing rumours of a CityWalk type location, a new water park, hotel, or even a kid-friendly park similar to what's being built in Texas. It's going to be an exciting year with all the developments surrounding Universal property. Everyone's eyes are on these attractions. Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. So that's the end of this update. So what excites you the most? Are you eagerly anticipating a new roller coaster at Universal Studios, or are you focusing on what new attractions are on the way to Epic Universe, and what would you want them to be? If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe, and if you haven't already, hit that notification bell and share with your friends and family, as it really does help. Want even more Orlando, Florida updates? Don't forget to check out our website that covers everything happening inside the parks and outside the parks. Scan the QR on screen right now. Also, are you planning to head out to Orlando this summer? Don't forget to check out our affiliates for theme park tickets, accommodation, car rental, and even your flights. Scan the QR on screen now. Hey, thank you for watching this video right to the end. I hope you enjoyed it, and if so, why don't you check out this video right here that YouTube's picked out for you. You can also follow us on these social media platforms right here to stay up to date with what's happening here in Orlando, Florida. Now get out there and go and make some memories. Bye YouTube!